Well, my playing background, I was an All-American, #2 in the nation, and I was going to go on tour, and I was kind of just getting ready for that, and I was playing World Team Tennis with the Sacramento Capitals, and then I got to coaching at my alma mater, and I ended up been coaching ever since for some 25 years. Yeah, again, right out of college, so when I was going on the on World Team Tennis, I started coaching, and just fell in love with it. And a lot of people ask me, why didn't you go on tour full time? I said, well, because I just love coaching, and it became what I did. So yeah, my first head coaching job, I was one of the youngest players in the NCAA, coaches in the NCAA. We were 4 in the country, and then from there I went to Irvine. I was there for about 17 years, of which in that time we were as high as 16 in the country when I was coaching, and we had players as high as 5 in the country in doubles. And there were some teams every year we had our teams were ranked. Every year we were in the top 75. And sometimes, like I say, as high as 16. But then I had players go on the tour. One particular was 3 in the world in doubles, 11 in the world in doubles, top 120 in singles. But it's not all about, for example, I mean, that can sound really good. But one of the things is that I really take pride in things like coming into a program and then helping shape. So, for example, I was at Texas Tech. They hadn't really done it. They hadn't been on the national scene, and what we did within that first year is we beat University of Texas, who was top 16 in the country for the first time in 30 years. But what those guys had to go through was early morning workouts. They even had TV cameras there. I mean, it was a pretty cool deal. They never worked that hard, but sometimes that's what you got to do to turn it around. Yeah, one of the things, I mean, we love the area as a family, and for a college student, Eastern Washington itself is, I mean, the people are strong and feisty, and they work hard up here, and they're just great people to be around. And one of the things I love about EWU is, I mean, obviously kudos to the football team for some phenomenal stuff that they've been putting on the field, but that whole spirit and unity within the faculty, staff, and the students just bleeds over, and it bleeds red onto the field and everywhere else. But one of the things I've noticed is that even when I was at a school that we were top 16 in the country, we were a major program, etc. But here, even though the football won the national championship, we're not a minor program here. We're everybody counts, everybody matters, and in fact, I mean, it's the football players, basketball players, tennis players, they're all friends. My coaching philosophy is, bottom line is, we're athletes. We're student athletes. And I want guys to be athletic. And so I push them hard. I have high expectations. You got to love the game. You got to love working hard. Part of the joy of being an athlete is just getting in the trenches with each other, working hard, and taking joy in that. So the work ethic has to be there. The high expectations are there. But along with the expectations, I'll encourage guys and push them. And so I'm not going to expect somebody to do something I don't think they're capable of doing, or that there's not the support to do. But I do have high expectations, and that goes along with the goals for the program. In terms of focus, years ago, I wanted to solidify the focus of the guys in the team, and I give each player, and I have it at my office, it's a poster that goes through our purpose, vision, and values, and our focus. And focus means fundamentals, opportunity, conditioning, unity, and success. You have to have the fundamentals, period. And that means you got to have the horses, and that goes to my recruiting. So the fundamentals that are in terms of an all-court attacking style game, your ability to not only physically and tactically, technically execute, but mentally. So much of tennis, as we know, is mental, but very few people train that. I spend a big part of practice putting pressure on guys, having fun, but making sure that we're mentally tough between and during the points. Second thing is opportunity. You could have the greatest skills in the world, but if you don't challenge yourself at the highest level, it's just going to kind of be squandered. And so for me, the schedules get pretty tough. I was known for having extremely tough schedules with Georgia, Virginia, and all these different schools, and UCLA, USC. But what we're going to do here at Eastern Washington is amp up the schedule. Then along with that, and that even goes within practice, we got to be able to up the pressure, up the competition in practice. Thirdly is conditioning. C. We have to be the most conditioned team. When you shake hands with somebody, they should feel the weight of your presence, I call it. And that deep down inside, when you're deep into the sets and matches, you should feel like you can outlast anybody. Next is unity. So a team without unity is destined for failure. Team with unity is destined for success. And the idea is, on paper, you can look at some teams and they could look really good and have all these ranked players, but if you are unified, that synergy in there counts for a lot. And I've had teams on both sides of that equation. And so the idea is, if we're unified with the things we do in terms of just team activities, and the way we treat each other and hold each other accountable, the last thing is success. If we have focus, if we have fundamentals, opportunity, conditioning, unity, we will have success, period. There's no way around it. As you can probably tell already, I'm a kind of an intense guy. So when I'm out of practice, I expect guys to go full throttle all the time. In fact, when I played, we didn't have a lot of things organized. So I did my own weightlifting. I did my own conditioning. My philosophy is, if you work hard enough on the court, you've covered most of the bases. But along those lines, so I'm a hands-on kind of coach. I'm going to be on the court with the guys. I'm going to be running as much as possible with the drills, or working out in the weight room, that sort of thing. You know, to the degree that I can, or you know, there's the time. But so for me, in terms of getting on the court, demonstrating, playing with the guys, getting a feel for how they hit the ball. So I'm very hands-on in that way. At the same time, I have really high expectations, but I'll encourage guys. It'll be very common for me to be jumping up and down, fist pumping, chest bumping, you know, celebrating guys' success, and but then pulling it when they feel down in the dumps, you know, to pull them out of it. Another part of my kind of style, or what I expect on the court, is I have guys wear shirts that have reminders of things that they need to be focused on. One is focus, another one is PR. That has to do with our between point management. But another one is always. And a good friend of mine, Wayne Bryan, he said that if we always give our best, we will sometimes play our best and one time be the best. But you can't do the latter two if you don't do the first. Always. That means always. The issue is, most guys don't always give their best. They don't even know what it looks like. And so for me as a coach, is I get players, I motivate players. That's my goal, my task. What I lose sleep at night about and all that is, how do I get this person, this team, to always give their best? And one of these issues is, I'm big on goal setting, because a lot of people have goals, and there's product and process goals. And I want guys to be more interested in their process. How are they going about things? Because here's the deal. As a coach, I want to motivate players to do things that they don't necessarily think they had to do or like to do, to get them to a place where they never thought they could be. So my job then is to, you know, part of it is to take these young men and to help them really raise the level of their goals, and to help them do the things that get them there. And sometimes those are things that they never thought they would need to do or have to do. And all in all, the upshot is, we're student athletes. And that's one thing that's, for example, that's unique for me as a coach, is, you know, I have 5 degrees, you know, culminating in a PhD. And one of the things, that's very rare for a coach. But why do I do that? Well, because I really do believe in the student athlete. I believe that you can be fully, what we call fully orbed. I mean, you're fully developed in the sense of, and it doesn't mean we arrive, but it means that we really care about our mental, physical, social, personal aspects of our lives. And I really do care about that about the guys. I want them to be academically successful, professionally successful when they go on tour, or in the business world. And to be, you know, personally have really good full development. So those are some important goals for me, because it is about the students, and college coaching and playing is going to be one of the greatest experiences of a person's life. And that's why I do it. In recruiting, I'll take the best player that wants to be here. And so that's across the border, if it's in-state, out-of-state, you know, or outside the country, I'll take them. But the issue is this: they've got to be willing to work hard, coachable, and obviously I want them to be athletic. There are some guys, for example, that you know, play tennis and that's kind of all they do, and they're great at it. Well, I want them. There's some guys though who are maybe kind of rough around the edges, and that's what a coach should be doing, is be able to take a diamond in the rough and make them into a diamond. And I have ample examples where I've had guys that were top 125 in the country. Let's say they played number 10 on a team I had. They ended up being number 1, top 25 in the nation, 500 in the world. So you want to be able to take these guys and mold them. So it's pretty wide open, but I want guys who are serious hard workers and are coachable. Yeah, my goals are the same, have been since as a player, all through all my coaching. That's to be a dominant force in the conference, which means winning it, and always being in the chase. Along that line is my goals also part of that is we have to have facility enhancements, and that's always been the case where I've coached. We've made improvements. We want to feel like when people come out, I want to have community support. People come out, they have an experience of watching tennis, a high-class product. Along those lines, I also want to develop relationships with boosters and alum and get the community involved as much as possible.